During today's lesson, we are going to continue talking about the U.S. regions and their states. Our goal today is to identify the U.S. regions and the states within them. I'm also going to discuss a little bit about the attributes of each region. I don't want to give you too much information because you are going to be researching and doing a project on on a particular region. There are going to be 5 groups because there are 5 regions. Each group is going to have a different region, and you are going to be doing research on different things for each region that we will discuss at the end of the lesson. So I'm not going to give you too much information about each region, just enough to kind of explain to you what you need to find in your research. So the question that you need to ask yourself, both during the lesson and also during your project, is what states are in my region and how can I best describe them? So let's start by talking about, or reviewing rather, the 5 regions of the United States. This is the West region. In the West region, you also find Hawaii and Alaska. Then you have the Southwest region, the Midwest region, the Northeast region, and where we live, the Southeast region. The first region we are going to talk about is the West region. Here you will find 11 states. The climate, that is something you're going to have to talk about, varies in this region. Climate is the weather. It varies in this region because, like I said, you have Alaska and Hawaii. Alaska we know is cold and snowy. Hawaii we know is very tropical. So the climate in this region varies greatly. You are also going to have to talk about landmarks in your project, both man-made and natural landmarks. One landmark in this region is the Golden Gate Bridge. That is a man-made landmark. That is not something that nature has made by itself. That is something that had to be made by humans. A popular city in this region is Las Vegas, Nevada. And some of the vegetation in this region would be potatoes. Vegetation is the plant life that grows in the region. That is also something you are going to need to talk about in your project. The next region is the Southwest region. Another thing you will need to discuss in your project are the landforms in your region. Desert is a kind of landform that you would find in the Southwest region. Some of the vegetation in the desert is a cactus. And a natural landmark in this region would be the Grand Canyon. It was created by nature and it is located in the Southwest region. The next region is the Midwest region. The climate is snowy in the winter because it is in the northern part of the United States. Some vegetation that grows in this region is corn. Cattle would be a natural resource that you will also need to talk about in your project, the natural resources of your region. And mining takes place in this region, and the things that they mine would be natural resources because they are found in nature and we use them. The next region is the Southeast region. Like I said, this is where we live. We have oranges and trees are some of our natural resources, as well as coal. Our climate, we have hot summers and mild winters. And one of our landmarks, our natural landmark, is the Everglades. The last region is the Northeast region. This region has most of the smaller states. There's cold and snowy winters and mild to hot summers depending on the day and the area you're in. One of the landmarks is the Statue of Liberty. And this is where we get a lot of our seafood, the natural resource of seafood, where we get our crabs, our oysters, fish, and our lobsters mostly come from Maine. So let's take a look at what you need to do for your project. Once I am finished with this lesson, you will be getting your group as well as your region. You will also get a guide to help you in your research and a map of the United States. The first thing you need to do for your project is you need to locate your region on the map. You need to identify the states. That means you need to write the names of the states on the states that are in your region, and you need to color only the states within your region. I do not want you to color the whole map. Only color your region and label the states within your region. Then on your guide, you are going to do research. There are questions on your guide to guide you, and they lead you to describe the physical features of your region. Are there hills and mountains? Are there plains? Are there lakes and rivers or deserts? What kind of landforms can you find within your region? You are also going to describe the climate or the weather of your region. What's it like in the winter, in the summer? Does it rain a lot? Does it snow a lot? Is it dry? Describe the climate of your region. You're also going to identify vegetation or the plant life that can be found growing in your region. And you are going to list all the natural and man-made landmarks within your region, as well as natural resources that you would find in your region. Natural resources being things that you find in nature that we use to help us in our lives to make other things or do things with. And finally, I would like you to find 3 to 5 interesting facts about your region. It could be anything you find in your research that you find interesting that does not fall in one of the other categories that you are going to be talking about in your project. Now, along with the internet, you may also use your textbook. Starting on page 22 of your textbook, it does highlight each region that we've talked about. In the textbook, it does talk about the climate, the physical features, the resources, the landmarks, the vegetation of each region. It talks about them briefly. I expect you to do some research to add to what the textbook says. Also, the textbook highlights where in the United States your region is. It also shows the states that are in your region. However, the state name is not written on this map. Only the state capitals and some things that you may find in each state are listed on this map. You may use the back of your textbook, find the other map to figure out which state is which in your region, because they do need to be labeled correctly. Each region has 2 pages in the textbook that talks about the different things that you need to talk about in your project. So you may start with your textbook, but then I also want you to add to your research using the internet. Okay, so that is your project for the regions. Like I said, do your best work nicely with your group, remember the rules of the classroom, and have fun. Good luck with your work.